Now on the CTV News at 5, what Corb Lund says are the next steps for his petition against coal mining in the eastern slopes of the Rockies. Plus, a warning from Lethbridge police after a local business is defrauded out of $20,000. And the city wants your input on the designs of 2 new playgrounds.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. A petition to ban new coal projects on the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains has been approved by Elections Alberta. The petition was started by country music artist Corb Lund. Quinn Keenan has more.
Corb Lund's Citizens Initiative petition has the go-ahead after previously being rejected. A change in legislation forced Lund to reapply under more strict conditions.
So we sort of made lemonade out of the lemons and used the time to strengthen our IT people and our legal people and our canvassing people and our organizing people. So we have a pretty strong team in place and we're raring to go.
Over 1,000 people so far have volunteered to be canvassers. They'll need to collect 178,000 signatures, which is 10% of the votes cast in the last general election in the next 4 months. If successful, the legislature could pass a coal mining ban or send it to a referendum.
This is about our water. It's about stewardship of our rivers and our water. And it's not a crazy left-wing ecological maniac thing. It's our drinking water, and it's irresponsible mining at the headwaters of our really vulnerable rivers.
The petition says the prohibition would include the controversial Grassy Mountain coal project north of the Crow's Nest Pass. Northback, the company behind the project, said in a statement, Alberta has a proud history of building projects to meet world demand for our resources, and Albertans support the continued development of their resources. A 2024 municipal referendum showed 72% of Crow's Nest Pass residents supported the project. But the vote excluded the 200,000 people living downstream from the proposed coal mine.
And I'm cautiously optimistic that things will proceed because the coal company has been given the go-ahead. They have done some drilling.
The province won't speculate on the outcome of the petition. In a statement, Minister of Energy and Minerals Brian Jean said, "We are developing some of the high standards in the world for coal mining and conducting a royalty review to make sure Albertans are fairly compensated for their natural resources." Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Canvassers are expected to be out within the next couple of weeks collecting petition signatures. High-stakes CUSMA negotiations with the Trump administration are coming up, and with that in mind, Canada's premiers are huddling in the nation's capital for 2 days of talks. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver takes us through the agenda priorities and Team Canada approach.
It's going to be an exciting couple days.
The gathering of Canada's 13 premiers, a sign of solidarity, as trade tensions thrust Canada-U.S. relations into a new, more unpredictable chapter.
You know, we talk about Canada true north, strong and free. Let us not allow other people to dictate to us how we govern.
We know President Trump's rules. There are no rules with him. So we need to focus on what we can do.
The premiers, even those who sometimes don't get along, sending a message of Team Canada unity.
We don't always agree on everything, but I think we've got a really solid base to start on.
The meeting comes days after the U.S. president threatened massive tariffs on Canadian imports, following the Prime Minister's speech in Davos declaring the old rules-based order dead.
If we are going to determine our destiny and become that leader in that middle power space, it is going to take us making those tough decisions, having those discussions like we'll have today on how we are going to allow that investment to flow, allow those industries that are creating wealth to expand.
One of the major topics on the agenda, provincial and territorial priorities for the upcoming CUSMA negotiations.
In any negotiation, there's on both sides, there's some people that are kind of out front with more bluster. We're certainly seeing that, particularly out of the United States right now, but I'm hopeful that below that, there are real and significant discussions happening and taking place, and I'm looking forward to kind of hearing from the Prime Minister on the status of those.
Discussions, the Prime Minister said today, are going well.
Relations are good. We have good conversations, good back and forth. There's a lot of work to be done for the review of CUSMA.
But that apparent optimism was met today by a threat from the U.S. administration.
I would not pick a fight going into USMCA to score some cheap political points. Either you are working for your own political career or you're working for the Canadian people.
Tonight, the premiers will sit down with the Prime Minister for a working dinner. The main meetings will take place all day tomorrow. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Meanwhile, the Bank of Canada is holding the key interest rate steady and predicts a gradual recovery from the shock of U.S. tariffs. However, the economic forecast remains uncertain.
Uncertainty around our forecast is heightened. The range of possible outcomes is wider than usual. U.S. trade policy remains unpredictable, and geopolitical risks are elevated.
The policy rate remains at 2.25% after the central bank's first decision of 2026. Governor Tiff Macklem describes the rate as appropriate given the central bank's outlook, but it is difficult to project whether the next change will go up or down or when that could even happen. Let's check in with Danielle Savoni on the forecast. And Danielle, we have got some warmer weather on the way.
Yeah, it will get warmer than this, but we're already in the warm spot thanks to these Chinook conditions. So winds are not excessive right now, close to that 60 kilometer per hour mark, just above 60 in Lethbridge, and Calgary got a gust just over 40 kilometers per hour. This is what it's doing to those temperatures. So we're at 6 in Lethbridge, 4 in Pincher Creek and Milk River. This is, of course, well above normal. Medicine Hat is sitting at -2, but will get above freezing for tomorrow. I'll have that whole warmer, longer range forecast coming up for you, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Now, Lethbridge police are warning local businesses to be vigilant after a recent fraud incident resulted in losses of nearly $20,000. On January 15th, a local business received 3 large orders for parts over the phone. Payment for each transaction was made using multiple credit cards, and arrangements were then made with a third-party courier to pick up the merchandise. After the items were released, the business was contacted by someone saying that their credit card information had been compromised and the charges were not authorized. Police say the other credit cards used in the transaction were also stolen. Police say the courier had been hired through an online advertisement to provide delivery services. Now, police are reminding businesses to verify new customers and confirm phone numbers using trusted sources. The use of multiple credit cards for a single transaction, particularly for high-value purchases, should be treated as a warning sign. And police say just because the credit card clears right away, that doesn't mean it's all clear. It's recommended businesses implement a delay between when the payment is received and when the merchandise is released. In a rare open letter, Alberta's chief justices are stressing the importance of independence of the courts. The letter says the 3 branches of government should not influence each other. On her call-in radio show on Saturday, the Premier said she would like to direct judges. Back in November, Smith said she places elected officials above judges as more important for democracy. One Calgary law expert is weighing in on the letter from the chief justices.
I see it as we're staking out our turf. We need to let people know through the media what our role is, and we are judicially independent. And we're not going to get involved in whether or not we think this government policy is politically feasible or not.
We asked for Premier Smith to comment, but her press secretary told us recent court rulings have led to questions being raised about the courts, going on to say the Premier's office respects the role of each branch of government and their independence. Alberta teachers are set to pay more cash to cover the costs associated with their fall strike. A letter sent to members by the Alberta Teachers Association estimates the total cost of the provincial teacher strike between $25 and $26 million. That includes maintaining health benefits and legal challenges to back the Back to School Act. As a result, the ATA is asking each member to pay $40 more a month to help restore their emergency funds. Starting in February, the ATA expects it'll take up to 16 months to restore their emergency fund. The City of Lethbridge is asking residents for feedback on the design of 2 new playgrounds. Crews are replacing the play structures this summer in Cougar Park in the Uplands neighborhood and Lafayette Park in the Varsity Village neighborhood on the west side. The city says that upgraded equipment will not only ensure compliance with the Canadian Standards Association, but will also bring a bright and vibrant look to the neighborhoods. 2 online surveys have been launched asking residents to vote on their favorite color schemes. The surveys can be found on the city's website. A Humboldt Broncos bus crash survivor will headline the Lethbridge Polytechnic's 2026 speaker series. Ryan Strachnitsky will share his personal journey to recovery and spread the message of positivity and motivation for those looking to adapt and change their lives for the better Stretch Schnitsky was among 13 people who were injured in the 2018 Humboldt Broncos bus crash. 15 others were killed, including Lethbridge's Logan Boulay. The Polytechnic Speaker Series, hosted by Excite Lethbridge, aims to educate attendees, engage the community, and provide opportunities for thoughtful dialogue. The series will take place March 4th at the Lethbridge Trade and Convention Centre. A groundbreaking study led by a University of Lethbridge undergraduate is advancing vaccine development while highlighting the national importance of the Canadian Centre for Hydrodynamics. Sophia Bird's recent study has been published in Advanced Functional Materials, a leading journal in the field. Pharmaceutical companies use the AUC to assess the purity of their vaccine formulations during development. Now, Bird developed a new technique to measure purity to help increase effectiveness. The study will help Bird with applications to graduate school and show future employers that she's capable of leading a research investigation at other institutions. This year's Glow Lethbridge benefited more than 20 local charities and organizations. This year's light show saw more than 15,000 tickets sold, an increase of more than 13% from 2024. Among the charities supported, Excite Lethbridge raised $3,400 through its Co-Check program to go towards the Ronald McDonald House. The Alberta Large Cars Christmas Cruise, Holiday Bus, and other initiatives also help support the charities throughout the holiday season. Your 5-day forecast is coming up right after this break. Plus, having open heart surgery is a pretty big deal. Imagine having it canceled not once, but twice. That story next.
Skycam from an hour ago facing northwest. We have the cloud cover. We talked about the cloud cover sticking around for today. We also talked about some light moisture. I'll show you the radar in just a second. We also talked about these warmer temperatures, and this is the pattern we are in it for a long period of time. So hopefully you like the warmer temperatures because they are here to stay and they're just going to get warmer and warmer. All right, closer to 60 kilometers per hour. That was the max gust in Pincher Creek today. We talked about this, just over 60 in Lethbridge. Everywhere else, no gust has registered at the reporting stations. Tomorrow we'll pick up a little bit. Lethbridge still looking at that 60 kilometer per hour mark. Pincher Creek 60 to 70. And then we may have 30 kilometer per hour gusts around the Medicine Hat area. All right, so what are those gusts doing out of the west? This Chinook set up so far to temperatures. Well, we're at 4 in Pincher Creek, 6 in Lethbridge, 3 in Milk River, so above the freezing mark. Medicine Hat, not quite so just yet, but we'll get there tomorrow. So these communities will really notice increase and some melting going on as well as we get above that freezing mark. Here's the pattern in the darker green here. That's the jet stream. So that's going to be mainly above us, and we're looking at this ridge of high pressure in place. It'll shift a little bit, which means the winds, it'll pick up at times and then die down over these next 7 to 10 days. But overall, we're in that same pattern, and this means warmth, and that's why temperatures will even be able to build, because we're going to get a push of warmer air mass in from the south as well. Okay, radar. We did have some isolated mixed precipitation out there earlier today. We talked about that being the possibility, and now this is pushed in through towards the Medicine Hat area. Again, nothing significant, just a short burst of flurries, no real accumulation from this, and this is already starting to die down for the night as well. But up until about, I would say, 10 o'clock tonight, there's the potential of an isolated flurry for communities in the southeast corner. And then this clears out for tomorrow. Tomorrow is mainly sunny skies, although we'll see a little more cloud cover towards the east around the Medicine Hat area and to the north of that. We don't have any real moisture in the forecast. Friday evening, we'll have a little bit potentially build into the Crow's Nest Pass Pincher Creek area. Outside of that, we have some rainfall, but that's overnight Saturday. A Friday night and through Saturday. So nothing really significant to talk about that will get in your way. For tomorrow afternoon, we have a wind chill of -4 in the East Kootenay area because the winds will pick up. You are looking at a high if you're looking at just the air temperature of 0. A mix of sun and cloud in Crow's Nest Pass. Now keep in mind the temperature will rise tonight, so we'll be at +1 by morning. We're looking at gusts 60 kilometers per hour once again. That will carry us up to a high of 6 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. Medicine Hat, mix of sun and cloud as well. Wind chill of -13 in the morning, but getting up to +3 in the afternoon. And for Lethbridge, 9 degrees tomorrow, gusts 50 to 60 kilometers per hour, which will carry us to 9 on Thursday, likely the double digits on Friday, and then we'll be around that 8 mark for Saturday and Sunday for the weekend, and then back to the double digits to kick off next week.
Edmonton man is fed up after his heart surgery was cancelled twice in as many months. Kimon Pearson has a growing aortic aneurysm and was told in November he needed open heart surgery. It was scheduled for December the 4th. Now, the day before, he says he got a call saying it was postponed due to a lack of beds. Then earlier this month, he was notified it had been rescheduled for January 21st. He was admitted to hospital, went through all the prep work, only to be told it would need to be rescheduled again while sitting in a hospital gown.
At first, I thought it was a feeble attempt at humor. I thought they were just kidding, and then I realized that they were serious. And I was irate, actually. I had to bite my tongue walking out of there. Something needs to change. I mean, they keep promising change, but we never see any.
The Ministry of Hospital and Surgical Health Services says it cannot comment on individual cases, but uses all other options before procedures are postponed. It says as of Monday, a total of 9 non-emergent surgeries had been rescheduled across Alberta due to capacity pressures. Acute Care Alberta says from time to time, surgeries may need to be postponed due to unexpected gaps in clinical resources, including sudden illness. Both the ministry and health agency are acknowledging the inconvenience. Major snowstorms and extreme cold in central and eastern Canada are having a major impact on blood and plasma donations. Canadian Blood Services is calling for people across the country to donate blood or plasma, saying the winter weather in the east has led to multiple cancellations. CBS says it has collected 1,500 fewer donations it was counting on in only the past 6 days. It also canceled 16 donation events this month, and road conditions and illnesses have prevented many donors from making it to their appointments. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, an Edmonton Oilers superfan has now attended his 200th home game in a row. What's more impressive is the trip he has to take to get there. Welcome back. Well, let's begin with some midweek action for the Medicine Hat Tigers as they faced off against the Saskatoon Blades last night.
Gives to the circle, Marcus Ruck, backdoor, they score!
And Liam Ruck scores, and as he sails into the air like Bobby Orr, Medicine Hat Tigers knocked off the Saskatoon Blades 4-1 last night. The Blades have dropped 2 straight now. Now, the Blades will be in Lethbridge tonight as their road trip continues. The Canes looking to build momentum after recently snapping their 8-game losing streak. Saskatoon has won both meetings between the two teams so far this year. Puck drop is at 7 o'clock at the VLC. Well, we now know who will carry Canada's flag at the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics. Olympic champions Mikael Kingsbury and Marielle Thompson have been selected for the honor on February the 6th in northern Italy. Kingsbury is a 3-time Olympic medalist in moguls. The Quebec native was the first male mogul skier to win 3 Olympic gold medals. Thompson is a freestyle skier from Whistler. She also has a very impressive career, winning gold in her Olympic debut. That was back in 2014 and adding silver in 2022. Trevor Wheel, known to fans as McMullet, attended his 200th straight Oilers game at Rogers Place. I know what makes it even more impressive is he lives in southern Alberta. CTV's Nariman Issa has that story.
Nurse right in for a shot. He scores!
When the Oilers score, there's a good chance you'll see this superfan cheering on the broadcast. Trevor Wheel is a staple at Rogers Place.
Tonight is my 200th consecutive Oilers game in Rogers Place.
Wheel, known as McMullet, has seen every Oilers home game since the beginning of the 2022 playoffs. That includes every preseason, regular, and postseason game.
I love Oilers hockey. I love watching hockey, so that's a big thing.
McMullet's commute to Rogers Place is a little longer than most. Instead of minutes, it takes hours. The Calhoun native now lives in Strathmore, about 30 minutes east of Calgary. Every game day, he drives up the QE2 to downtown Edmonton. After the game, he's back on the road heading home.
There were 2 nights coming home after games that it took me 8 hours to get home. Because of the snowstorms and the Highway 2 was closed. I listened to a lot of different hockey podcasts.
The Oilers celebrated McMullet's milestone with a pregame interview and a gift.
They presented me with an Oilers puck that they marked up like they would for one of the players. and they marked it up 200th consecutive game and put the date on it.
But he always brings so much energy, and he's such a diehard fan. It's a really great reminder of what this team means to fans in our community throughout all country and obviously throughout Alberta.
Wheel says becoming a super fan has been surreal.
To have people come up and want to get a picture with me and chat, and you know, I've been asked for my autograph, and it's like I'm just somebody that loves Oilers hockey just like the rest of you guys, right? But it's still it's pretty cool.
Attributing his love for the team and its fans and helping drive the streak. Nairm Nisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Well, still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we'll show you how a Saskatchewan filmmaker is letting those watching have a say on the film's plot. A Saskatchewan filmmaker is using a vertical lens to showcase his new movie so people can watch from their phones, but he's also allowing viewers to have a say on the plot of the film. CTV's Sierra D'Souza Butts reports.
It's a movie on your phone where you get to choose the plot.
So then you get call your ex or call your sister.
Regina filmmaker Aaron Sinclair's short film, called Singleness, lets the audience decide the outcome of different scenes throughout the film using options on their mobile device.
The interactive aspect is on the ChooseWise app, and as you're watching the film, you get to choose what you think the character should do next, and you'll be presented with different options, and depending on what you choose will change kind of how the story plays out.
The production follows an international trend where filmmakers are starting to use vertical storytelling, also known as microdrama format, in their short films, allowing people to watch movies the way they naturally hold their phones.
There's a lot of projects that are shifting into this microdrama format. We see companies like Disney and Fox looking into the microdrama format as well.
Adding, the industry is shifting on how people consume content.
We're getting a little bit away from the more traditional type of storytelling into this new format, simply because folks are scrolling and we want to keep their attention span.
Although the app to watch the film is based in the U.S., Sinclair says he takes pride in shooting and casting the entire movie locally.
It's really great kind of working with Saskatchewan talent to make something like this. I think that we can offer this sort of like production value here that if you were doing the same production value in LA, it would just cost so much more. It'd be so much harder to do, but people are just excited to be a part of something cool here.
Already working on his next production, Sinclair says it's an exciting time to be a Saskatchewan filmmaker. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.